It's all crisp and you start smelling people's fireplaces.
Smells like Halloween.
The Sopranos can be pretty scary sometimes. It's got ghosts, spirits, Italians.
Like my balls.
But one of the strongest elements used to provoke fear in the audience is with its dream sequences. This show has some of the most authentic portrayals of dreams that I have seen, and this is through all the little details included, and the film techniques used to capture these moments. Narratively, the nightmares provide one of the few opportunities for these characters to be confronted for their actions. It makes perfect sense that that confrontation is through their own guilty conscience.
In the Czech Republic, too, we love pork. Ever had our sausages?
Christopher's nightmare is so effective not just because of all the oddities within, but because of how understated it all is. His girlfriend changes into Tony's wife and not a word comes out of his mouth. Christopher is not at all uncomfortable holding a conversation with the corpse of the man he just killed. The way the dialogue is spoken is so stilted and it also sounds like it was dubbed over.
You killed me.
What do you want me to do about it now?
My favorite detail has to be the windy weather indoors. It's those background details that I sometimes remember the most vividly in my dreams. I love how none of this seems odd to him while dreaming because that's how it is in real life. It usually doesn't seem bizarre in the moment, only in retrospect.
Ah! Let go of me! Let go!
He only wakes up from the nightmare after he feels physically in danger. This nightmare is less so born out of the guilt of the crime he committed, and more so because of the fact that Christopher felt something was wrong with the disposal of the body. I also think that this surreal dream serves as a great reflection of the equally bizarre life of this show's mobsters.
The more of them you do, the better you'll sleep.
Bompancero tells Christopher that the dream will stop haunting him once he has killed more. Just like the dream in the moment, this lifestyle doesn't seem so strange to these people.
What does it take to get something to eat?
After a nice long trip to Florida with Tony, where Tony had contemplated whacking Paulie by the way, Paulie finally arrives back at his lonely apartment. Dreams that feel closer to reality can often be the scariest. The situations can often be so uncomfortable that our brain will wake us up. Paulie isn't famous for being the wisest guy around.
Word to the wise. Remember Pearl Harbor.
But here in this dream, he is incredibly well spoken.
When my time comes, tell me. Will I stand up?
Oftentimes, these dreams are seen as omens by these characters, like with Christopher's nightmare or how Tony was told Bompancero was an informant. Really what these dreams are confrontations with what have already been dwelling in these people's minds. Paulie dreams of his dead friend because he just had a similar situation with Tony. Paulie was nearly killed for being an inconvenience, just like how he and Tony killed their friend for being an informant. Whether you're an informant, elderly, or just sort of annoying, it's all the same, and any violence towards you is justified in this environment. Paulie was finally on the other side of that situation, and he is unsure how to confront this empty existence that he has trapped himself in. Also, side note, I love how his immediate reaction to this nightmare is to just start pumping iron.
You know, speak English.
I want to end this ramble by talking about the dream that scares me the most. Initially, Tony is in the backseat of his father's old car. His wife is in the driver's seat, and beside her is the recently deceased Ralph Cifaretto, with a caterpillar on his bald head. In the back with Tony is initially one of his love affairs, Gloria, who then changes into Svetlana.
And now the news.
Gunfire blazes on the radio, and the caterpillar turns into a butterfly. Tony is sitting in the back seat as everything around him changes. His wife is finally exercising a little control. The mob business keeps Tony away from the front seat, away from the relationships he has with his family. The women he has affairs with are all interchangeable to him. He escapes the confines of his marriage only to have shallow relationships with women that amount to nothing or end horribly. He is stuck in the back seat living a dysfunctional life inherited from his father. The car finally arrives at its destination. Ralph guides Tony to the front door, where he will see what this life has led him to. The figure that emerges resembles his mother, but I think there is more to it than just the pain Tony has from having an unloving mother. It is the embodiment of all of his relationships with women. He strips these women of their identities and treats them as means to an end. He never values anyone beyond material uses. This ultimately results in an empty portrait of a human being whose gaze is obscured to Tony, but its judgment is ever present.